Well, CBN chief political analyst David Brody joins us now for more on the president's press conference. David, I've got to lead off with many are calling the mistake. He's saying that Putin, Russia, has to do something. Is that, in essence, giving permission to Russia to invade Ukraine?
I don't think there's any question about it. And then he goes on to say, well, if it's just an incursion rather than what, a full-scale invasion, hey, a little bit of military activity crossing over into Ukraine's borders, not that big of a deal. What in the world, Gordon? I mean, talk about this equivocating between all sorts of different scenarios. This is unfortunately classic Joe Biden. He's literally negotiating with himself with a camera rolling on live television, and it's causing major headaches at the State Department. And Ukraine is not happy, as you might imagine. And so this whole thing has debacle written all over it. And so there'll be cleanup for a while, for sure.
Well, if Russia does invade, you're talking about a massive crisis. There will be a flood of refugees into Europe. That's just the beginning of it. And then the devastation to Ukraine, Russia's air superiority, their troops won't have a chance. And if NATO is not willing to back up Ukraine or face Russia and say, regardless of Ukrainian integrity, we're not going to let you expand. It just is mind-boggling that he would say he has to do something, that would be a direct quote from the President of the United States. Let's move on to another mistake, and that is, and maybe he doesn't view it as a mistake, but he's calling into question the integrity of the 2022 midterms. And here's the direct quote: "I think it easily could be illegitimate." Why is a sitting president calling elections that haven't even happened easily illegitimate?
Gordon, it blew my mind. I felt like I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone from the 50s and 60s. I mean, this is a classic case of projecting, what they call all the time. In other words, Joe Biden and the Democrats have said ad nauseum about Donald Trump and all of his followers, saying, how dare you question the election results? And now he does the same thing, Gordon. And once again, what makes it even worse and even more political is that he's saying that there will be election integrity if he gets his voting rights bill passed. There won't be election integrity if he doesn't. I mean, look, Gordon, that is not how America works. And so talk about overtly political. I mean, I think to a degree Donald Trump believes in all of what he's saying about election integrity. But in this case with Joe Biden, he's saying he believes it only if they can pass the vote, or if they can't pass the voting rights bill. So in a way, it's kind of even a level worse than what Trump is saying, because Biden is saying this all has to do with politics. So our election integrity has to all just do with a voting rights bill. It's insane to me. Right. I can't figure it out.
Let's talk about another insane. All summer we were hearing about inflation being the result of supply chain interruptions, and it's all going to come back to normal. But then winter came, and the supply chain either wasn't fixed, but definitely our prices kept going up. So now he's saying it's not supply chain, but it's up to the Federal Reserve. Right. Is that just abdication, that he doesn't want to help the economy?
Well, it's abdication. It's political gobbledygook. I mean, he specifically used the word recalibration of the Fed. Listen, anybody in Ohio, Kentucky, anywhere in the country that hears recalibration of the Fed, they're going to sleep. They have no idea what that means. Look, and Joe Biden was classic in his line during the press conference when he said, folks, I see those empty grocery shelves out there, but look, 89% of the grocery shelves in America are filled. Really? I mean, that is such a political line. It's tone deaf. It's absolutely tone deaf. I mean, it's like they're not even seeing or ignoring the problem. And then what was interesting, Gordon, he says the only way that you can combat the high prices, and this is what he was literally saying, is that you have to pass his Build Back Better agenda, because his view, now hear me out on this, or hear him out on this, he's saying if you pass the Build Back Better bill, more middle-class families will have more income in their pocket, so therefore, in essence, they can pay for those high prices of inflation because they'll have more money in their pocket. That's a strategy? Look, the whole thing was just, it was, I don't even know what to say. I'm dumbfounded. I'm in the Twilight Zone, Gordon.
All right. Well, he's frankly reminding me of Lyndon Johnson, a consummate politician, a Senate negotiator, could get legislation across the finish line, and he would, it was all about the backroom negotiations and the give and take of that. But Lyndon Johnson didn't know how to lead a country, and I'm kind of wondering what is he for? I mean, he was questioning what are the Republicans for. But I've got a question. What are you really standing for? Because you seem to be careening in your first year, and where are we going? The real telling point was saying, I don't believe in polls, which means he's not even paying attention to what the American people are telling him. My number one test of leadership is anyone following, and he doesn't even seem to want to look behind him to see if anybody's following him.
Well, that's exactly right, Gordon. If you look at independents, let's forget the right, forget the left for a moment. Just look at independents. 60% approval of independents when he started. It's now at 33%. So, look, if you're not going to look at any poll numbers, fine, on the right and the left. Look right in the middle. And you've got real problems. He never addressed the vaccine mandate issue at all in the press conference. It wasn't even asked, but he didn't even address it anyhow. The point is that independents are frustrated with these vaccine mandates. We talk about COVID and the science and everything. What about the mandates? So if you're going to help yourself politically, you would think you would have to address that if you want to bring independence back in the fold. This has just been really a problem for a while, and I'm not quite sure how he recovers at this point.
Well, David, thanks for the insight. I'll tell people at home the number one thing we need to do right now is pray for this man. He's the president of the United States. He needs to lead. We're in very difficult times. Russia, if, as predicted by our president, invades Ukraine, you're talking monumental crisis. Could China then say we're going to take Taiwan? If Russia can take Ukraine, we're going to take Taiwan. This stuff spreads, and a perception that America's weak, America's divided, a president that doesn't even reach across the aisle to talk to Republican senators about his pending legislation. All of these things, he needs supernatural wisdom right now. Our country needs your prayers. Our president needs your prayers.